time, it's 5:30. This is the regular scheduled meeting of the Mayor, Board of Mayor and Selectmen, City of McComb, May 8, 2018. I would like to call on Mr. Keith Lott, if he would open us with prayer.
If you will, let's bow. Our kind and most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege and honor to be able to call you Father, and to be able to call you God, Sovereign God. We thank you, Father, for this beautiful day that you've given us. And I hope, Father, that all of us were able to take in all the beauty and majesty of your creation. Father, I thank you for this opportunity for us to serve our community, and to do those things that I hope, Father, bring glory and honor to your name. So, Father, what's our prayer tonight, that each of us would act in accordance to your will, do those things that you want for our community and for those around us. Father, again, we thank you for those blessings that you give us, for the talents and the gifts that we have, and how us to use them to glorify you. Forgive us where we fail you. We know that we do each and every day. These things we ask in your most holy name.
Amen. Thank you, Keith. Before we move to the consent docket, I need a motion to consider adding 3 additional items. They being, you have the addendum items in front of you: Park Lane Road Improvement Projects, Donna Heights Ditch, and Recycle 1 would be the 3 additional items. Could I have a motion in a second?
So moved.
Selectman Tullis.
Second.
Selectman McKenzie for the second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Then we move to the consent docket. Would we be able to approve the consent docket without objection? Anything need to be pulled? And without objection, we have approved the consent docket. Tyler here?
Yes,
Wonderful. Then we have a recognition of engineer Tyler Howell. We're recognizing Tyler for 5 years of service in the fire department. Tyler came on board May 15, 2013. He's not married, has no children, social science degree from Southwest Mississippi Community College, attended Ole Miss, been with the fire department since May of 2013. He enjoys golf, fishing, and tennis. Mr. Howell, welcome tonight. I'm glad to have the opportunity to recognize you for 5 years of service. Chief Agnor?
Yes, sir. Tyler's a pleasure to work with. Like I said, he's been with us for about 5 years. He's always willing to help others, very proactive as far as in his job. He usually don't have any trouble with him or anything like that. Like I said, he's always willing to help others, help his fellow employees, and seems to have a good, attitude about his job. So.
Additional training, you've been out and sought additional training in the last 5 years?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a member of the Mississippi Task Force.
Okay.
Has lots of training in it, and of course other training as far as from the State Fire Academy.
Would you gentlemen come to? Well, Tyler, do you like what you're doing?
I do. It feels like 6 months ago I was there getting hired, so I can't believe it's been 5 years.
Great. Well, Tyler, the city, in appreciation, presents you with this certificate in recognition and appreciation of loyal and valuable service to the city of McComb. Our best wishes and heartfelt thanks to come from this expression of gratitude for 5 years in the Department of Public Safety, fire engineer. This is dated May 14, 2018. Tyler, and so we've been, the city's invested time and money in you, and you've gone out and sought additional training, and we would hope that we would see you, about the next 5 years have passed just like the first 5.
That's so too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you want to speak to your city?
Well, it's been a real pleasure working for the city of McComb. I really enjoy what I do. I dropped out of college to be a fireman, so if that does anything, it's awesome. It really is a good job. I really don't have any complaints. I love the guys I work with, so they treat me well.
That should be. Well, can we get a picture?
Absolutely.
All right, this is 130, 1, 2, 1, 3.
All right. Then we move to item number 4. I'd move that we consider receiving check number 1122 in the amount of $395 from Dispatching and Training Solutions, LLC. A refund submitted needs to be accepted in the general fund and then approved by the Board of Selectmen to be moved into the Police Support Services Training Budget 001-100-635. Could I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Selectman Tullis made the motion, Selectman Brock for the second. Discussion on item 4. Are you ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Item number 5, move we consider receiving a check in the amount of $100 from Cletus Alford to be deposited into Fund 001-000-346 and increase line item number 001-105-770. And further authorize a budget amendment for said amount. These funds are to be used for necessary equipment and supplies at the McComb Animal Shelter only. Need a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Selectman Tullis, Selectman Brock for the second. Discussion. Vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. I know that, well, I was looking to see if maybe Michelle was here, but I know that they had a great event since our last meeting, had an open house, and I understand it was a very fine event. So, thank you, Michelle. Item number 6, move to consider approving the advertisement for 3 vacancies on the Historic Preservation Commission Board, Term C, which will expire May 31st, 2021. Appointments are for a 3-year term. Applications will be accepted May 9th, 2018 through May 18th, 2018. I need a motion and a second?
So moved.
Selectman Tullis,
Second.
Selectman McKenzie. Discussion. Vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. And we will, as be reaching out to the current members that are serving and giving them the opportunity to be reconsidered if they wish, as we do. Item number 7, move to consider approving the advertisement for 2 vacancies on the licensing board of electrical, plumbing, and mechanical contractors. This is term F and term G, which will expire May 31, 2022. Appointments are for a 4-year term. Applications will be accepted May 9, 2018 through May 18, 2018. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Selectman Tullis, Selectman Brock for the second. Discussion. Vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Move to consider approving the advertisement for 1 vacancy on the McComb Housing Authority Board, Term D, which will expire May 31, 2023. Appointments are for a 5-year term. Applications will be accepted May 9, 2018 through May 18, 2018. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Selectman Tullis. Selectman McKenzie. Discussion. Vote. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, move we consider approving the renewal of the contract between the City of McComb and the Waste Management for residential waste collection and disposal service with an increase of 21 cents per household. The City of Macomb garbage rate will increase from $18.21 per household to $18.42 per household. The rate adjustment will take effect May 1st, 2018. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Selectman Tullis. So motion, Selectman McKenzie for the second. And this is the our contract which we entered in 2015 with Waste Management. Every year they have in the contract the clause allowing them to a CPI number that is used to measure rate increases. And so this is where this comes from. Discussion, Selectman Hill.
How much longer do we have in the contract?
Well, it's a 5-year contract, I do believe, so it was written in 15. So that would take us out to 20. Anything else? Vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Move to consider approving the annual support contract with Master Meter, Inc., 101 Regency Parkway, Mansfield, Texas, 76063. It's in the amount of $1,500. effective June 1, 2018 through May 31, 2019. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Selectman Tullis?
Second.
Selectman McKenzie for the second. Discussion on item number 10. Vote, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Move to consider approving the preliminary subdivision plat for East Haven Estates from Dream Builders of Mississippi LLC. This request has been approved by the Planning Commission for the City of McComb and is recommended by the Zoning and Planning Office. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Selectman Tullis?
Second.
Selectman McKenzie. Discussion on item number 11.
Can we,
Selectman Eubanks.
can we get a copy of, whatever information they have, whether it be plats or whatever they have, put in our box?
Yes, sir.
So we can peruse.
Any other discussion?
Did,
Selectman Hill.
did they talk about the parking issues? Does anybody know about that?
Well, in that letter, they addressed parking, that they would be providing 2 on-street parking places per household. You remember that in the letter that was drafted to the city administrator? And this is preliminary, so this will be coming back.
Have we spoken with them as far as, well, the area that they're talking about doing, those streets are so narrow? Have they discussed the uptick in cars going through that area? Because those roads are barely wide enough for one car to go through. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we've had a couple of bus accidents over that way on that particular area because of how narrow those streets are.
Right.
So I think that they need to, someone needs to address that particular issue and how they're going to, people be able to leave that area, go and come in that area, because you increase the traffic, you're going to increase the possibility of having wrecks.
All right. And Planning Commission, I think would, through zoning, would have, they've heard our remarks and comments. Selectman Hill.
Yes, I think one of my questions in the last meeting about this particular item was the cost of living there. Have we got any information on that?
Mr. Ott, are you familiar with, Mr. Ott is representing Dream Builders as an attorney. Mr. Johnny Ott, or Ms. Virginia, do you have pricing on these homes and expectations and market conditions?
The pricing, that I told was like $125,000. Rounded up cost.
Significant housing investment within the city of McComb on funds completion.
Hold on, so this is how much it costs to actually buy one? Like, if they were selling a house, it would be $125,000 per home?
Yes. And this is just very preliminary.
What is, if you know offhand, what is the current value of homes in that particular area right now?
Yeah, I don't have
Could you
this-
get that back to us and drop it in my mailbox?
I can.
Thank you.
I can.
Thank you, Ms. Virginia.
Okay.
Anything else?
What's the next step?
Well, the next step, it goes with the preliminary site approval, they proceed to bring, the next step would be final,
So you got 1 year.
they got 1 year to come back with final plans that would come before planning. They'd hash out the questions and concerns that we had as a board and try to get approval from them, that it would come back to us or come back to the board just like this is coming. Now, Mr. Ott, you have some information you want to share?
Yeah, I would just like to say, I talked to J.W. Burke today, and he emphasized the fact that the streets are going to be wide enough for 2 cars to pass each other comfortably. There will also be off-the-street parking for each facility, and each one has to be approved before construction begins. So those things should all be in place.
All right.
What ward is this in?
This is Ward 3. Anything else? Ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Well, we have an addendum item, which requires consideration, then we get into comments. How's that? The item on the addendum, I move to consider awarding the Park Lane Road Improvement Project construction contract to the lowest responsive bidder, RJ Construction, Inc., Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and awarded a contract for the base bid of $645,332.74. And additive alternate number 1 for $66,634.03, for a total contract amount of $711,966.77. And authorizing the mayor to execute all documents related to the project. Could I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Reverend Tullis. Reverend Cameron for the second. Mr. Keith Lott is here from Neil Schaefer, our engineers on this project. Mr. Lott, would you talk to the board about the bid process and where we are and how we missed the second, third alternate bids, not being able to get into those into the project? Had a base bid and 3 alternates. This is base bid plus alternate 1.
Right, base bid plus alternate 1.
Right.
That is basically the alternate 1, and the base bid will include the widening around 24th Street, make turn lanes in there, the widening along Park Lane Road in front of Park Lane School. There'll be widening and then the turn lane at Park Drive where Park Lane ties in. Those 3 areas will also be the widening as well as the overlay, and that's the base bid and your alternate 1.
All right.
Alternate 2 and alternate 3 are the other areas in between that we're saying are not selected tonight.
Now, we had $955,000 appropriated to this Park Lane Improvement Project. So this says $711,966,677, right? And so why can't we walk us through the numbers why we can't get the additional?
Out of that 955, you also backed out the cost with Entergy to relocate the pole.
Okay.
You backed out the cost to cut the trees on the west side for Entergy to move the pole. We had some easements that the city required for the widening. We had engineering, so when we get through with all that, you've got about $65,000 left of the 955. And so taking the 65, you really don't have any contingency now with the 711.
Okay.
And so a 10% contingency would be 71,000. So we're leaving that for us to work with as we go into construction. You follow what I'm saying?
So is there an option that the board it could come back if they desired? They could add in and
You still have basically 67,000 of that 955 that's not obligated right this minute.
okay.
Depending on the action you take tonight, you very well could add another alternate that just uses some of that cushion we have, if you will.
Okay. Well, board, the motion is before you. Be the conservative approach, I think, at this time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Discussion. Selectman McKenzie.
The overall idea of this project was to improve the corridor from Park Drive to Presley Boulevard, Highway 98. And alternates 2 and 3 are $98,000. You're never going to be able to do that cheap if you do that project by itself in the future. You got a $65,000 contingency or left over, so we need to come up with $33,000 more to do the complete project as we planned.
Understood.
I understand. Okay.
But there's 0 contingency in the budget.
Well, I trust Neil Schaefer's done an excellent job, and there won't be a need for that. They'll be an under. So I am going to offer a substitute motion to award alternates 2 and 3
Okay.
at a number of $98,655.
Which would be the combination of the addition of 295, 65? Let's see.
I believe, Mayor, on your bid tab, you come up to 810, 623.10.
Okay.
That second sheet of the bid tab,
Yes, I see 810, 623.10. That's correct.
I believe that would be the number you would put in your motion to award the project to the low responsive bidder for it. And it'd be base bid plus alternate 1, 2, and 3 for a total of 810, 623.10.
All right,
And
so,
if I can continue,
but yeah, the substitute motion would be, awarding the contract of base bid of $645, $332.74, and added is 1, 2, and 3, for a total of $810, $623.10. That would be your substitute motion, so that begins, all right, okay.
our main fire station number one, the worst part of that road is between 24th Street and where we left off, to the south. And you have a development in between there that's got a road in there that they're trying to sell lots that got interest. You got Stewart Irby, you got 3 apartment complexes that have the highest density of people in the city of McComb. Tremendous amount of traffic coming out of Algiers on 24th Street. Another X number of cars that go to that school every day. It's a major north-south corridor through the city. I think we ought to do this entire project at this time.
Well, you have made the motion, but without a second.
Second.
Oh, there's been a second, okay. All right, so now we would go into discussion about this substitute motion, I do believe. So, Selectman Eubanks, I'll call on you, sir.
Has any consideration been given to, and I understand what Tommy just said, that is a major thoroughfare through that particular area. Have we talked to the fire chief as to the inability during peak hours at Park Lane School to be able to access that road, to be able to go down that road fully? What are we doing? What kind of plan do we have for that? Because right now, if I'm not mistaken, when they turn out school at Park Lane, that strip is congested and clogged. Am I correct? Have you looked at that?
We have looked at Park Lane.
What is the plan to be able to get those fire trucks, if need be, to get down through that area? Forbid if there's I know there's a housing development, a couple of housing developments on the other side of Park Lane. What is the contingency plan for them to be able to access, go down through that road? Is all traffic going to be off that road? Are they going to be sitting in line waiting to pick up kids? What have y'all found out about that?
So when you make, with this project, you're widening at 24. You're widening, adding a lane at Park Lane. You are widening at Park Drive. That's only enhancing the fire trucks. They now have a wider access to get out of there.
How long is that third lane? How long is it? How many cars can get into that lane?
Well, I'd have to look at the plans. I don't know that footage right on.
Because I think you should be able to look into it and see, because if enough cars get there at one time, somebody's going to be stuck in the street.
But that's
And the way that road is built, they can't go around. Because if you go around, you got hills coming the other way. How are you going to tell what cars are coming the other way if you have to go around? Those are things that you have to look at, because if that gets congested there, and those fire trucks are going to have to make a decision. They're going to have to hit the highway, or they're going to have to go through our jails to go around that particular area. So I think that we should be looking at that to make sure that we have a plan for just in case those fire trucks need to go down through there. God forbid they need to come to the school.
And I don't know how the fire department determines the route they go on. That's not my thing. That is the fire chief. But that area being congested is no different than coming up by Otkin when all the cars sit there, or other areas of town. And again, if you do this project, you're widening in those areas that give you a better thoroughfare for fire trucks.
But the one thing Otkin doesn't have that Park Lane has is those hills. You can see down through Otkin. And they have an alternate route they can take all through there. There are side roads all through there. There are no side roads through there. So my question is, have we addressed the situation where you have cars going north, fire trucks going north, they're having to go around those, I know they don't want to go around them. So I think we need to talk to the fire chief and see what plans does he have.
He is fully aware of the project. We've talked about it. He asked me about what we were doing, and we were going to include sidewalk and a couple of things. And so we've discussed the project with the fire chief. Again, I don't know how they determine which route they take when they activate for a fire.
What I'm saying is,
But
if you have a fire
we
on the
did
other
not
side
talk
of Park
to the fire
Lane,
chief.
it's not going to be feasible for them to go all the way south, hit 98, go all the way down 55, turn on Delaware, then come back around. There's number 2 routes. The other route is you have to go back, hit 98, go and take that left by Seagull, come that way, go to back. But it's only 2 routes you can do if that road is congested.
So my question would be to find out from the chief, what is his thoughts on, because if you have to go, you cannot go around those cars, because there are hills there, and you have oncoming traffic, you can't see it, you know. So what is the plan? Because other than that, then we just extended the time for those fire vehicles to reach that particular area over there. You know, it ain't all just putting inside, well, we got to think about contingency. What's going to happen with this? Why is this going to make this out of the way? That's why I say we should at least speak.
Again, this doesn't have sidewalk, I just
Well, I'm just
said, Chief
saying
and
what
I
you said
talked
about
about
it,
the
yeah.
sidewalks, if we were adding, if we're not, what we were doing, where we're widening, and so he is aware of the project. But I did not get into, Neil Saber didn't get into how you send fire trucks to a fire, how you activate it.
Well, anytime we make changes like that, it's been like that forever, but anytime we make changes like that, we got to think ahead of time what could happen. You don't want to take 5 or 10 minutes extra for someone's house totally burned down, and God forbid something happens to somebody. That was my question.
Anybody else? Selectman Brown.
Mr. Lott, what's the traffic count? I don't have that right off the top of my head. We get some traffic counts, and I have to get that information, but I don't know that right off the top of my head.
Selectman Kennedy.
Aren't we three-laning a portion of the road?
At those locations that I'm talking about, we're widening at 24. You'll have a turn lane added, which will be 3 lanes that part. You'll have a widening, which will be there in front of the school where the drop-off are. Yes, sir.
Which ought to make the roads a little more cleaner when traffic's there. Okay.
You are good. Correct. All right, this is a motion on the substitute. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right, the mayor votes aye. We're considering the substitute motion. So, any further discussion on the substitute motion? To Selectman Eubanks, I would say, that this, your concern, this is exactly what we're doing. It's a 2-lane road today, and we're adding a additional lane north of 24th Street, and which will allow for traffic to turn as well as traffic to continue flowing. So we should be, at the end of the day, improving how traffic flows on Parkland Road. And then when we get up to the project, when you get up to Park Drive, you've widened the road there again and created a turn lane, so you've there again enhanced traffic flow. So this project is about trying to increase traffic flow. Selectman Eubanks.
Have we spoken with Park Lane as far as them being able to expedite those pickups, come up with some system so those cars, because I've noticed those cars, when they come to pick, they parking in the middle of the road. Now, if you get the turn lane, which he said, they're going to congest the turning lane, which means cars are still going to be going out into the road. Have we talked with Park Lane about some way they can expedite, get those children in those cars and out of there so that we don't have no congestion? I think that's something we may need to speak about.
All right. Anything else? Selectman Hill.
Can we get a breakdown of the funds that we're spending on this, of where the money's coming from?
Well, this would require a budget amendment for, what do you think, Ms. Janice?
Well, if we're still using the 955, well, this is gonna end up being, about $35,000.
Which would be a general fund, yes.
Okay, so where the rest of the money coming from?
955 has been set aside by this board previously, so it's, there are funds in the general fund account designated for this project in the amount of 955. So we would be, if this motion passes, we'll be appropriating another $33,000 on the general fund to get you to zero.
Okay, I know that. You talking about where did the okay, so now my question is, where did the 955 come from?
Okay, 955 came from the state of Mississippi, and it came from bond funds.
All 955?
Yes.
No BP money and none of that?
No.
Okay, so all this is state money?
Well, no, bond funds money you borrowed.
Okay, I mean, I'm asking these questions for public purposes.
Okay.
All right. How many bonds was it? Was it 1 bond, 2 bonds?
This is, no, this is bond funds would have been the borrow for the signalization of Allen, Delaware. The borrow included the Fire Station 3, and there was some monies that went to, some dollars went to MLK Building Fund, and then the excess revenues on this project right here.
So y'all paying for 2015 bonds?
I don't know the date, but it was a...
It was a 2015 bond, and
2015.
375 that came from the state.
Yeah.
And now we're asking the citizens for $32,001 for this project.
General fund, yes, sir.
General fund dollars.
Selectman Brock.
Ms. Janice, so we're just short of another $10,000. We're spending $1 million on Fort Line Road.
Somewhere close in there, if, just going by Mr. Lott's figures of having 65,000 left and adding this 98,000, yes, sir.
Mr. Lott, is that road a mile long, half a mile, quarter? About a quarter? Half? Less than half?
I'll say more than half. I'm guessing, but I got distances in the plan, but I don't have it on top of my head.
Anything else? And you ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. All opposed, nay. 3 ayes, 3 nays. The mayor votes aye. The motion does pass. Okay. All right. Then we'll move to Ron Kessler. We wanted you to address the board and the public about Parks and Recreation. Howard, we've got splash pads fixing to crank up. Just kind of give us an update on what we're doing.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor and Board, Selectmen, gentlemen, and ladies, for the opportunity to come speak to you. For just a little under 2 years now, I've been privileged to work for the City of McComb, first as a sports coordinator, then the deputy director, now as the director at the Recreation Department. We strive every day to do the best we can to provide the recreational services that our city, both children and adults, need for the City of McComb, and we're proud to stand here before you and say that we work hard every day. I want to just touch on some things here that I've made some notes of, some things that have transpired in the city and in the world of recreation. Over the past 5 months, we've been a part of a citywide leadership training. We have offered this free training for all city departments. We've had police department representatives, fire department, city hall members, and public works department join our staff in some leadership training to help improve workplace performance, developing performance goals and standards, learning how to delegate properly, resolving conflicts. And next Wednesday, May 16th, our final training will be regarding communication breakdown. And this has been an outstanding session that Southwest has put on for us free of charge, no charge to the city. And it's been an outstanding leadership program, and we've seen it really, really benefit all of our departments throughout the city, not just the recreation department. So we thank all the departments that have participated in that. Again, our last training will be next Wednesday, the 16th. The programs that we have going currently right now throughout the city in the McComb Recreation Department, we have gymnastics, eccentrics, majorette dance, Zumba. We have the Pike County Titans semi-pro football team, South Mississippi Titans youth football team. We have Babe Ruth baseball, British soccer camp, MRD soccer, women's softball league, and a co-ed softball league. Touch base real quickly on the MRD soccer. That is our largest youth program that we have. When I came on board in 2016 as a sports coordinator, we had about 240 young people, boys and girls ages 5 to 17, participating. And one of my goals as sports coordinator was to grow that program. And our staff just rallied together with social media advertisement, newspaper advertisement, and in 1 year we grew that program to about 340 kids. This past year, 2017, we saw that program go over 400 kids. We had 408 kids in the program. So our MRD soccer, which we are about ready to advertise, has just been booming. We're getting asked and begged to have a spring league. So we are going to look at doing a spring soccer league next spring, 2019, to add on to the MRD soccer program that we have. We are also, we've talked with our participation insurance company, we are also going to broaden the range and allow 4-year-olds to play. There is no charge whatsoever for us to change that age requirement, so we are going to add 4-year-olds all the way up to 17 to be able to participate in an MRD soccer program. Again, an outstanding program. Our staff does an outstanding job getting that ready. We have great soccer officials and great participation here throughout the entire city, and lots of participation from neighboring cities. Brookhaven is the closest place that does soccer, and so we get a lot of people from Tylertown, Magnolia, Summit that do come and participate in our McComb Rec Department soccer. So just wanted to touch base on that program there. We're off to a good start right now in our spring so far. The month of March, as far as revenue that came in through the rec department, we had the highest month of March in our department's history. And we had a very good April as well, even considering having 2 rain-out weekends where we had to cancel some tournaments. We have brand new signage up in all the city parks. 4x4 metal signs are up with the city park name, the MRD logo, and the city address, letting all of our patrons know exactly what park they're at and how to get there. Talking about those parks, I was asked by Mr. Butler to submit to him a plan for park improvement with the knowledge of the new city hotel motel tax time coming around to be renewed. So I did present that to Mr. Butler, and I am just waiting on you, the board, to give the green light. I have had great talks with contractors already as far as rubber surface playgrounds, walking tracks in and around different parks and locations in our city, and I'm just waiting on go from you, the board, to make those moves and with some great park improvement plans. Going down those list of parks in alphabetical order, Algiers Park, we have a new ball field with new fence, bases, and bleachers. We have a new basketball court with new fence and 6 new goals, a brand new gravel parking lot. And we did have a previous playground there that I've been in contact with Mr. Dowdy. There's some possible litigations going where that playground was, we thought the city's property, it was removed. And Mr. Dowdy's working hard on getting some more information to that, so he'll be able to update us in the weeks to come as far as the previous playground at Algiers, its whereabouts, and what we're going to do as far as either getting that back or getting something in replace of that. Moving on to Beartown Park, we've installed 2 new gates at Beartown. The baseball and softball practices are being held out at the park. Soccer practices and games are taking place there on a regular basis. And we've had some calls just this week for end of the school year events that are planned out at Beartown Park. The splash pad is up and running at the Boys and Girls Club Police Complex. The activities building at Central Park is busy 4 to 5 nights out of the week. The splash pad there is up and running. The shade pavilion, bathrooms, tennis courts are all being maintained. The Depot Playground has a new rubber surface playground that is getting lots of use and good use. Douglas Park, we had a new fenced-in ball field on the corner of Gay Street and Virginia Avenue that was completed, and a new gate was installed off of Virginia Avenue. Moving on to East McComb Activities Field. The green space practice field has been graded. Teams have been using that field out there for football and soccer practices. The fenced-in full court 100 by 50-foot concrete basketball court has been completed. The walking bridge to enter the gated park off the back of Avenue G was constructed and finished. The walking bridge across the ditch throughout the park needed some renovations, and we've had that completed here recently. And a brand new rubber surface playground is up and running with 2 adult/kids swings and 2 toddler swings and a completely new rubber surface playground. And it is getting frequently visited, including my family as well. We have 4-year-old twins, and we visit that one quite often, and our kids love it. Edgewood Park, we've got culverts and drain boxes that needed to be repaired. They have been fixed throughout the park at Edgewood, and gates were installed on Lindy Lane with no parking signage in place. Chief McKenzie and I got together. We had some problems when the gates were first put in with people driving around. The signage has gone up. The police have been on patrol there trying to take care of that. It's been posted. We've had very limited reports of that. The citizens of that area have called and thanked us numerous times about that. Those gates do get open when there are scheduled events there on a regular basis. The fire department checks their hoses there. They have keys. The police department has keys, as well as our department as well. So they can be open anytime there is a scheduled event there on Lindy Lane. MLK Park, a new surveillance camera system was installed at MLK 2 weeks ago. Metal roll-up doors have been installed at the end and rear of the building. Metal grids have been installed over the windows in the rear of the building. And currently repairs are being made to that splash pad location. That should be back up and running very soon. And finally, the sports park, a new surveillance camera system was installed there a few months ago. Fields 3 and 4 lighting project is underway. The gentlemen from Southern Electric have been there this week. The completion of that project is set for July 25th. Looking at our calendar out at the sports park, every weekend from now till August has been reserved and booked for tournaments. We started a new advertisement banner program, and 19 local businesses participated in a new annual advertisement banner program. Full 4-foot by 3-foot banners are hung in the entranceway at the sports park, giving out advertisement opportunities, addresses, phone numbers for the local businesses to do some advertisement. The Pike County Titans and the South Mississippi Titans, the youth portion of that, play their home football games at the sports park on the multi-purpose field, and football goalposts were just delivered this week and will be installed in the very near future, probably not until the Titans adult team finishes, but in time for their youth football team to have uprights. Everywhere they go and play, they have to kick an extra point, but when they play their home games here, they don't have that option. They have to go for 2. So we ordered some football goalposts. They're going to be put in the next couple of weeks there, so the Titans and the youth Titans will have that luxury there for their home games. Just a couple last things, and I'll be finished. Some school group community days. We were privileged to have North Pike High School and the homeschool group of Southwest Mississippi come out and do some community work. They came out to the sports park, and we went around to several parks throughout the city and did some cleanup, several in the month of January and February, and that was a great community service opportunity with some neighboring school groups. The Miracle League participates, as you all know, they're at our Miracle League field on site. They're going to have their 6th and final week this week. If you haven't had a chance to get out there, I please encourage you to go and spend just a short time. They have 3 games at 9:15, 10:15, and 11:15. And it's just an awesome atmosphere out there with the children and adults with special needs. Personally, I have a son that participates. He's 4 years old, and he's on one of the teams. And it's just a really good opportunity to go out there and appreciate what that organization does. And we encourage our part-time staff, when we have events going on at the sports park, when they take their breaks, we encourage them to go up there, and they'll come back with some great stories and inspired with what they saw at that Miracle League. So we have a great partner relationship with the Miracle League, and again, this Saturday will be their final week. Our staff, 2 weeks ago, our McComb Rec Department staff, had a chance to play against the Pirates. And if you know anything about the Pirates, they're undefeated. And we hit as many home runs as we could, and yet at the end of that day, the Pirates were on top. So it was a lot of fun. It's a great opportunity, and again, they'll be finishing up playing against a group of celebrities this week at 11:15, so if you have a chance to go out there. And last but not least, I left all of you a flyer on your desk. I met with the department head meeting this morning about the city employee softball game. Friday, April 13th, we had a city employee softball game. We had close to 300 people come out and watch 4 teams compete in a co-ed softball. We had 2 teams from the fire department, a team from the police department, and a team combined from City Hall and the Recreation Department. Public Works did not participate, but they have told me they will make sure they make the next 2 events. It was such a huge success that we have had the fire department, police department, Public Works, and our department have all asked, could we do it again? We are going to make it a 3 times a year event. We're going to do it in the fall, in the spring, the summer, and the fall. So in front of you, gentlemen and ladies, there are there's a flyer there with July 6th, Friday night, and September 7th, Friday night. So put that on your calendar. If you have an opportunity to come out to see the city employees come together in a great game of softball, and sports brings us together, and it's a great opportunity for the city to come together and have a fun night. We do free popcorn. All concession sales are all half off. We had some special guests visit us, and it was a great atmosphere. You saw the paper, and you saw Chief McKenzie with a nice reach and stretch there at first base on a bang-bang play. We appreciate the newspaper coming out and doing some great shots, and all the departments participating. But that's an update. I appreciate the opportunity to work for you guys and this city. I have a great staff. 2 of them are here tonight with us, but they work hard every day. And recreation is not just 8 to 5 or 7 to 4. We work nights and weekends, and we are there 50, 60 hours a week, most of us, doing what we can to help provide for the city of McComb. So I appreciate the time and the opportunity to speak to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very good.
All right. Mayor, that needs to be, that exact speech needs to be on our Facebook page and our city's page, because we don't do enough promoting good things like that in the city.
I know somebody can make that happen. All right, thank you, sir. Last board meeting, I gave you some information about a mobile food ordinance here in the city. Tonight I've given you the City of Jackson's ordinance, and I've given you the City of Amory's ordinance. They're very, very similar, one somewhat copies the other, I would suspect. But you don't have to recreate the wheel. But, you know, we do not have, you know, our ordinance, the only thing that we permit in the city is people selling fruits and vegetables that have raised them on their own personal farms, really. But we've had two, and then we have one more person that called in about, you know, wanting to do a food service truck here in the city, and we should have an ordinance. We should be requiring permits. We should be requiring health certificates from the state health department. We should be requiring that they have a state tax number and that they report sales taxes to the state of Mississippi, and showing that the city of McComb is where they're housed. And we, you know, an ordinance, you read the ordinances, they're very detailed and deliberate, and I think we need to go there, board, and I just want you to appreciate your input and what your thoughts might be on how we should proceed, if you think this would be something we should try to implement. Glad to give you more time, take it home, let you read it one more time, because I think this is probably the first time you've seen the Jackson ordinance in full detail. But there again, the Amory ordinance that I present you with is very, very similar. So, study it. Okay. Please come back and be ready to discuss, and let's see if we can't move on this. The McComb Peddlers, a group of bicycle enthusiasts here in the city. They call themselves for the McComb Peddlers. They have came to my office with a concept on it. They have a bike route that they'd like to have us build out in the city of McComb. And basically, what I want the board to do is that if you feel like health and education and the welfare of our citizens, and bicycling is an important sport that we should embrace, that you would allow me to take this route to Neil Schaefer and just let them ride it and evaluate it and see what this might cost. And then we're talking basically paint and signage. And you've all seen the logos in the cities, you know, share the road. And that's kind of what they want. They just like to have this route designated, share the road, so that they feel safe as they ride about the city on their bicycles. And I think that, you know, that I know I've seen, I know we have some city employees that just, you know, love bicycling, and I think that there are many across the city who would embrace something like this. So, would you object to me passing this along to Neil Schaefer to let them evaluate this route to see if it would? It's a 7-mile loop through the city that originates at the parking depot pavilion and loops around through the city and comes right back, 7 miles. So without objection, I'll let Neil Schaefer have a look, and then we'll have the report and see what paint and signage cost. Okay? Sure. All right, Selectman Brock, you want to talk about fireworks?
Yeah, just quickly, I'm talking with an insurance company about the fireworks participation for the residents in the city of McComb, possibly New Year's, 4th of July, Christmas time. The insurance company is looking at it. It doesn't look good, but they are searching it out, researching for us to see if it's a possibility. We may have to go from individuals to a particular designated area for fireworks, but they are looking at it, and hopefully I can come back with some kind of report for you and they for the city of McComb.
Okay, then we'll wait to hear from you on that. All right, Selectman Hill, Highway 51.
Yes, our public works director has brought some information to me that he's going to continue to look into, but we have not figured out exactly who is responsible for that road yet. So we'll be putting it on the next agenda. Hopefully we'll have everything figured out. We figured out how old someone was, though. So, but yes, we will have it on on the next agenda.
All right. Then the next is Donna Heights.
2 years ago, this board approved to clean the Donna Heights ditch out, the one with the county had spent money to put riprap there. Since then, I think we spent $14,000 or $15,000 to have that ditch cleaned out. The citizens of that particular area are here, and since then, the area has grown back up, and they would like to hear from the board of our new efforts in taking care of our problem. I talked to Public Works Director, Mr. Chuck Lambert, and he's ready to address it if we will allow.
Chuck?
Okay, yeah, Selectman Hill mentioned this to me about a week ago, and I got with Mr. Alexander, who heads up street maintenance, and with the riprap in place in the ditch, we really can't get down there with a tractor to mow it, but last year, I think last fall, may have been the first time we went in and tried to spray it, and that did some good. Now, there's going to be some trees that have grown up that have got to be cut out, but Mr. Alexander's already got the chemical in, either in or ordered, and we're going to try to spray it again and try to do at least a spray once or twice a year to maybe take to the third time.
I don't mean to cut you off. Mr. Williams, are you able to hear? You can? Okay, all right.
Okay. To try to spray it to keep it down around the riprap, because I think that's where the main area is. We're cutting it along the edge of the ditch where we get to it with a tractor and bush hog. It's just because of the riprap, and y'all know how that is. We just can't get in there and cut that. So we're going to try to get in there with some chemical and spray it as best we can to knock it down and try to kill it and keep it down as much as we can. We'll have to get in there and do some cutting with some Kaiser blades or whatever to try to get some of the taller bushes out.
Is there a timeline?
Selectman Hill, we're going to do everything we can do to get there as quick as we can. As you and I talked the other day, we've got several things going on that we're trying to get finished, and things we've started, and we will try to get to it as quickly as we can. I would hope we could get to it sometime this month or early June, but I would hope this month. Okay?
Yes, sir.
To get it sprayed.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When that was designed like that, why didn't you just then smooth that concrete out when you could have gotten in there with weed eaters or anything?
To be honest with you, at the time, Ms. Elmore was, I think that started with Mr. Marks, and he came back in, and it was through a Corps of Engineers project. And a lot of the design had to do with what the Corps of Engineers requested and required at that time, was my understanding. And the way it was done, the way it was due to that reason. They were putting money into it. It was designed. It was not so much about keeping the ditch, keeping it clean was one thing, but the other thing was about trying to keep it open and erosion control. And that's just the way they did it. Now, I can't get into a lot of that because I wasn't directly involved in the design.
Concrete at the bottom of it.
It would seem like in the future to smooth that out, because it just collects all stuff.
Well, there's some new products out that weren't out then that would allow that to work a little better. Instead of going with straight riprap, there's some material out now where you can get some matting that looks like riprap, but it's more uniform. It's not level, but it is not tall enough to where it would tear up a bush hog. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for Madam Selectman. I want you to I have Ms. Chelsea Williams and I have been visiting with our mayors of Summit, Magnolia, Osaka, and the Board of Supervisors concerning Recycle One. Recycle One is a cooperative recycling effort here in Pike County that all municipalities and the Board of Supervisors participate and share in. We have containers and compactors at Summit, McComb, Magnolia, and Osaka. We're going on a fiscal year that runs July 1, June 30, and so it's we're trying to get lined up to move forward into 18 and 19. There's some good news and bad news, and the good news is that Ms. Williams and Ms. Regina went to MDEQ and made applications for grant assistance funds, and you'll see that the top line, we have a grant from MDEQ of $50,000. That's pretty cool. Last year, you know, the $78,400 was shared in full by the recycling effort. This year, we've got $50,000 covered. The formula for Recycle One is that the income comes, 55% comes from the county, 35% comes from the city of McComb, 4% comes from the city of Magnolia, 4% from the town of Summit, and 2% from the town of Osaka. And you'll see that with $50,000 for MDEQ, the Pike County is asked to come up with $15,620, city of McComb $9,940, city of Magnolia $1,136, town of Summit $1,136, town of Osaka $568. This $78,400 just information. This is the exact same budget as last year's budget. The expense side, we've done some shifting of the cost, and we're putting more money into outreach and advertising. We put a little more money into transportation and equipment costs, and a little less into mileage reimbursement. And there was also a line item that we were budgeting for FM. In other words, when our citizens put recyclables into the containers, if they put garbage in the container, or you know, anything besides recyclables, when we haul it away and take it to the recycling center, they'll inspect it, and if it's found, if non-recyclables are found in it, they'll reject that load, and they'll make us haul it somewhere else. So we spent $300 hauling it to Summerall, and we're going to spend another $300 hauling somewhere else. But that has, since we began this initiative in 2013, we've never had that happen. So, knock on wood, our people are respecting the containers and